Welcome to Michele Holden Art Beyond Mixed Media. And in this video, I am going back to the basics in mark making. But what I wanted to do is not create one page where I would only see the marks on that page. I wanted to try a series of marks very simply using ink and pencil, graphite, charcoal, and soluble graphite. And my intention is to explore different types of marks using a couple of other tools, a bamboo skewer, and this is a stem from one of my plants from last year. I don't know which one from my garden, and just a couple of simple, a round brush, size 8, and a very thin one. It's been through a lot, but it's one of my favorites. So while I was cleaning up my studio, and if you missed the reorganization and connection video, I'll leave a link right here up in the right-hand corner. And I discovered all of these things that I created that I have forgotten about. So this is my 9 grid that fits on a very large watercolor pad underneath. I'll show you that in a moment. But it also adapts to the 9x12, either watercolor or mixed media, where you can, I like to quickly draw my squares, and I like them to be pretty precise, though I don't paint that way. And it's really fast, so I'll move that so it fits that one. And it also fits this 11x15 watercolor Canson pad. So I put it here. I already made the squares. I trace them in really quickly. And then I have enough room here just for some notes. What I did, what I used, what I was thinking. And what I am trying to get to, my intention for my marks is simplicity. So I'll show you maybe at the end some of the other pages that I worked with. And why I'm working on this pad is that when I have my stuff in a journal, I need it up. Seeing where I'm going with my next series of work, and of course, my new course coming out late fall. So if you haven't signed up for my newsletter, which is Letters from the Studio, or signed up for Create with Me, go ahead and do so, and then you'll be on my list, and you'll be in the know as to when I open the wait list for my course, coming soon. So this is 140 pound. It's sturdy. I like to use sturdier or watercolor paper for these, though you don't have to. I think the mixed media would be enough. So I've got those. I have acrylic inks. I was working with a brown as well, but for demonstration purposes, I'll just use black and some indigo. So I put them in here with some water. Some's in there already. And I use just a water dropper to put a little bit in with the ink. I don't want it full strength, though you can use it, and I will use it that way for some of the marks, because I like to use just the dropper as a tool. So that's the black. And welcome if you are here for the first time. We are getting back to basics with our mark making, but I'm doing it a different way. And it was so relaxing the other day. I have my speaker right here at my table. I was listening to some very calm meditative music, and it was so nice. So I'll just put almost equal, well, no, but double, you would say. But that's the other thing, playing around with the different strengths of ink. Okay, so what I love to do, and I know lots of people are doing this, and we're all doing sort of the same thing, but different, is just put in, I was using puddles, but that's really not how I paint my marks. So that's the other thing. It has to relate to what you're doing. So I'm making a wet mark here. I'm going to put the brush down. Actually, no. I'm going to then just dip that in. So it's finding the direction of a mark that I might make just differently. And I don't really need to take these marks so literally. It's just the idea and the feeling that I'm looking for. And that's what we're looking for when we're using the intuitive art process, using intuitive mark making. So you see how it's pretty even in value. Now the next one, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go and just let my brush find a way. Now, I'm going to use paper towel to lift and lighten. Because I want to get some different values that I would if I would veil it, make my marks first, dark ones, and then put a layer of white paint over the top. And then I'm going to come in with a different tool, say a thinner brush. I want to see what kinds of lines or energy I can get with this. So notice I'm really letting go of control here. Okay, I'm going to move to black here. I'm going to use black. Oh, and look at that wonderful accident. So I'm going to go like this. So you can experiment using the very tip, hardly any pressure, dry, wet, and just experiment. And there's no reason for any outcomes here. It's just getting a start on the feel of your marks. I'm really liking that light and dark together. You can experiment with speed, direction, then slowing down. Size. Just simple patterns. You might just make a grid of just simple patterns and not any of these. So what I would do usually is pick a pattern or a couple of patterns and really go deep with them on the one grid. But today I'm just showing different ways that you can use your grid journal to explore your marks, and you can see them side by side. So that's vertical. I'm going to put some blue here. And there's something so wonderful about the ink. It's responsive. More responsive than the paint. Okay. I'm going to go with one of these big guys. I'm going to dampen it first, the bamboo brush. I don't know what is going to happen. Okay, interesting. Now, one of the reasons why I love the bamboo skewer is that the fine lines it makes when you go through a puddle of ink. This is an interesting line. And you can just scribble. And this I could just do one line across. Maybe two. And if the others marks, oh, they are still a little wet. Okay. Now I've tried dipping. Let's try this. I'll just put some ink on it. It has a little curl at the end, so it does a little bit more. And I love how the dark is on top of this middle tone. Oh, it's starting to break. We'll just leave it. You can always get another one from the garden, depending. Okay. I think I really like. This is indigo. There's something about blue that is so amazing. And I'm finding the simpler my marks are, the closer to the feeling, whatever that is. I'm still trying to find that, the more amazing they are. So this time I'm tapping it instead of just dabbing. And I'll alternate here. Maybe some could go up here. Notice I'm just responding. I had no plan as to what I was going to do. I was just going to do the grid and see what happens. Okay. Then you can come in with light washes. See, that would let that dry. You can just let these air dry. They take time, of course. So I'm just playing with areas. Loving this. And then when you have puddles, if you haven't worked with inks before, I'm sure a lot of you have, you can get a brush that just does the soaking up of excess. So it's not loaded, it's damp. As you can see, I don't want to put the paper towel over these. Different brushes, different brown brushes, and any brush, of course, will make a different shape. Now, of course, you can experiment with all sorts of found objects, but ink is very sensitive. But the only way to find out is to try, experiment. So I'm really liking that. And I've not used the pencil yet, or the graphite. So you can just come in. This is a 6B. It's very soft. And I'm just responding to the shapes. I love my dashed lines. I use them horizontally and vertically. I know that's some artists, quite a few artists use these, but we all use them in different ways. And that's so amazing. I just wanted to give this some weight. Okay, so that's the soft pencil. Just your fine pencil. And notice how light that is. I think I want to leave them. It almost looks like there's a piece of vellum or thin, translucent collage on top. You can come around and trace the shapes or go right over them with pencil marks. You can use repetition. So repetition is key once you find marks that are really you or that you resonate with. I didn't want to circle them, but I found just that curve. So it was the oval shape that I responded to make a curved line. This one needs some blue. As I've just been looking at it. So the whole idea is to slow down. And it's not like a command. It's just a good idea to slow down. But okay, so what are we doing when we're slowing down? We're paying attention and we're just pausing. I think the word pause is a much better term because when we pause, we're present and we pay attention to what's going on right here. That old saying a friend of mine used to say is, be where your hands are. And as artists, well, you know, that's a great opportunity not to be thinking about what I'm going to create or where I'm going or my outcomes. It's being right here with something simple. So when you finished with this could be just for you. You could use this as a study of, or an exploration, I don't even like the word study, of marks for certain feelings. You could start with feelings or an intention first. Say, an easy one. And I know I use the word calm a lot, but just peace, quiet. Maybe loneliness or whatever you want to convey or that feeling. See if you can translate those in marks. So I think we're almost here. I'm just going to lift that a bit. I think I'm going to lift that instead of... Oh, look at that. I'm just going to leave it. I love how and look at those. They really lightened up. Very cool. Okay, I'm trying to think of anything else. I did not use the charcoal yet. So, the charcoal you really feel the paper when you're using it. And it's also interesting when you add a little water, like a wash, it does create a very light gray. Now I'm trying to go in and not touch the watercolor edges, but that's definitely tricky. But you see how you can still see the lines from the previous layer. And I'm just going to leave that as sort of a dynamic on an angle. I don't know why. Just something's telling me to do that. Okay, so now I might even go further. Oh, and look, my hand smudged that, but that's okay. It's just the edge. So it's not taped off like I would working with acrylics and gesso. That's coming up soon though, and that's how I would and how I usually create a bunch of abstracts in one go on watercolor paper. But you could even play with, I wasn't going to do this, but I think I will because I have another one, a grid that I'll show you in a moment, that I used pencil, ink, Neocolor, the Caran d'Ache, but just one or two colors, and then a scrap of Collage. So I'll just demonstrate that with a couple of them. And notice they're not totally transparent. What am I saying? They're transparent and they're extremely simple. So let's just do that. And how I attach them is just with a simple glue stick. If I can find it. Where'd you go? I have a gazillion glue sticks. Oh, I know you're here somewhere. Anyway, we won't worry about that right now. Let's use, of course, see the lighter blue. I'll move these out of the way. Oh, there it is. It's right here. That's good. And only just to bring in a little more saturation, maybe echo, some energy, a line. Just love this one. This blue is so beautiful. And I'll use some water on a couple of these just so you could see the effects. This is so amazing. I have like a whole bunch of them. I just started this yesterday. So I'm planning and going through my course modules, getting all ready. Okay, no. Clean brush, just so that blue will come through, and more of a dampened brush. And then you can take a thinner wash. But I want some white areas still showing. And I love the combination of drawing or pencil lines with ink, charcoal. I'm really loving this. Now, where'd that go? So I just want to bring out the shape. So now you're working with the negative space, which is a great way to create shapes you would never even plan on. That one went through there. It's almost like a embryo or something like that. Very cool. Now I'm keeping it very monochromatic, so it's just that it's just simpler because the focus of the marks, the negative space, the patterns, and the shapes come through. think this is way more successful than my others, but I'll show you the other ones as well. So this is acrylic ink. India ink is also great to work with. You have to add a little more caution, but no more than any other medium. Okay, so this is, I'm going to call this simple patterns, line, and shape, with a focus on repetition. And you can put a little date. I know, now I know, because if I come back to this, and say if it was a feeling that you wanted to convey, the grid is so useful for so many things. But what I'll do is, since I like this and I have a real purpose for this, is I'll take it out of the pad. There goes my ringing lights again. And I'll put it up on my inspiration wall behind me. And I'll show you a picture of now. I think I'm coming up with the direction. I know the palette that I'm working with. This is part of it. And you're ready to do another one. Keep going. It is so amazing. So purposeful, so calming, and so many uses for your inky marks on a grid. So as I said, here is the other one that I did yesterday, and then I'll bring the other one next to it. I said I would add, that's right, add some collage, but I thought I would show you, keep that one simple, just focusing on marks. The other day, just yesterday, I just couldn't stop, so I kept going with layering. So this is layers. So this is another simple way to look at different layers. And as I'm moving the page around so you can see my gold pen, which I love as a finish. Some splattering, but that wasn't intentional. Here's the transparent collage on each, which is just the tiny scraps that I keep in a very small little basket. So now I don't have to go fishing for them. And I just use a normal glue stick to glue them on, and that works just fine. And look at what you can get. So I'll show a close-up. And I'll show the other one. So look at the difference. You have a whole bunch of layers, almost like miniature abstract paintings that could be inspiration. You would I'm going to put, this is already up on my inspiration board, and simpler ones are just marks. It's like, oh, okay, I really like this. This keeps showing up in my work. So maybe it's my mark, the way I do it. So I might want to put those up. So I hope this has been helpful. You enjoyed this little tip using the 9 grid. It depends how large, of course, the substrates you're using. Very helpful for that mark making, the unique mark making that only you can create. So in my Create With Me, we'll be going through some more mark making, of course, but with the jelly plate printing and many more things. My Sunday vlogs. This little video is going to be the beginning of a little series, and it's going to just give you little snippets of what and how far deeper you can go in my new course coming up. Also, don't forget to sign up for the Create With Me series every Tuesday at 2 Eastern Standard Time. The link is in the description below the video. So, happy creating, and I will see you in the next video.